Thank you very much for giving me speech. Let me share my screen. It's okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's working. We can see it. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning and evening, everyone. Before I begin, let me first introduce myself. I'm Dr. Ratdimbazafy, Vololoniaina, Bakoliarisoa. I have just recently got my PhD in economics with a specialty in money, banking, and finance. I also want to clarify that is my first conference in English, and being born in French-speaking country, I apologize in advance for my bad pronunciation, and during the discussion, I don't know if Dr. Julie Babin can help me to translate my answer if I have to answer any in French. So let it begin. Indeed, the environment and climate change is a completely new field for me, and I'm rather used to financial and monetary vocabulary in English, such as exchange rate, currency, macroeconomics, and I was still looking for my bearing in short. I hope that is will not detract from my importance for my theme today. My theme may be a little offset in what we have been discussing here for the past 2 days because it's trying to reconcile three themes of economy, energy, and fight against climate change. Ireland, like Madagascar, are on the front line on the climate crisis. They are already experiencing the impact of rising sea levels, ocean acidification, and intensification of natural disasters, among others. However, they remain heavily dependent on fossil fuel, one of its primary cause of environmental destruction. Being a very poor country, households are the primary use of these fossil fuels. This is the way they will have to be an forefront in all the political to fight against climate change. For example, access to solar energy has my theme, reconciling microfinance and access to solar energy for households in Madagascar. To begin, let me make a brief representation of Madagascar. It's an island located in Indian Ocean, just in southern of African continent. Its large area makes it the 5th largest island in the world. Despite its natural and mineral resources, the country is one of the poorest in the world and currently experiencing famine problem in the south of Madagascar. The majority of households are poor and the main user charcoal. As we observe in this table, nearly 90% of Malagasy population use wood and charcoal as domestic energy. For access to drinking and water and electricity, the percentage of households with access to electricity is 38.1%. In other words, an electricity access rate of 56%. Majority of Malagasy households with a weight of 81.2% is chosen as sources of lighting and small partisan use for cooking. Jirama, the only public company which provides electricity and water in Madagascar, is fueled to produce 73% of its electricity. And in addition, the production of electricity is very expensive for the state since the subsidies for the purchase of fuel cost the state $300 million per annum. It's increased since the Malagasy population is expected to double between 15 and 2050. A sharp increase in energy demand in the future will increase deforestation. Madagascar, let me tell Madagascar, the deforestation. In this figure, we can see the last evolution of deforestation over 10 years from 2010 to 2018 in Madagascar. The island has lost 41% of its natural forests since the 1950s, and the rate of deforestation is accelerating. About 100,000 hectares of forest disappear each year, and this trend currently only offset into wood is representative of our source energy. We can see in the picture the green part has completely disappeared in thin air and still continues. This massive deforestation is without consequence. Indeed, since 2027, Madagascar suffered the full impact of climate change due to the destruction of environment. The south of Iceland is relatively arid, especially along the west coast due to climate change, and already arid soil. This region of Iceland has become particularly at risk during period of flood and heavy flooding. For the past 6 years, period of severe drought and flooding have appeared across the island. In time of drought, water become a very big problem, and the river and spring dry up. In time flooding. The flood are very strong and the wind over the pitches. You can see, for example, in the image, it's a Ikupa River in October and November completely dry, so the rain period should have started at the beginning of the October, and house near the Betsumi Tatacha was completely flooded. In addition, the wild trade and rice field for constructive increase the risk of flooding, and the water is becoming increasingly scarce. And in May to November. This is important to implement an energy transition policy now and gradually turn to renewable energy such as solar energy. Almost of a region of Madagascar receive more than 1,800 hours of session per year, where the regional production on 1,600 kilowatt-hours. The maximum from the solar amount the highest in the world, and the minimum from the solar will average 3 and 4 times higher than continental Western Europe. Photovoltaic is able to provide an answer to several challenges, including the objective of reducing the carbon footprint of households. But household access to these sources of energy comes up against barrier of cost, since they cannot buy them without any source of financing. It's necessary to develop an affordable financial system in order to facilitate energy transition. This is the way is necessary to involve microfinance, because they are closest financial institutions to urban and rural households in Madagascar. One of the objectives to access with credit is a high level of interest rate, which is between 15 to 20%. To encourage households to access green credit, an incentive mechanism should be put in place. It's a question of making partnership between governments, donors, microfinance, and PVC players. We can therefore see in this figure a possible financial model which consists of encouraging households with low rates and building confidence in microfinance by setting up guarantee funds. On the other hand, partnership with suppliers make it possible to have cheaper products comparative to the market. As a conclusion, solar energy has absolutely a major role to play in the fight against climate change. Better land does not solve this problem. A massive deforestation policy is necessary. We need also to develop a renewable energy policy. The public authority should encourage the development of photovoltaic system market by accepting income tax, example case of Kenya. And the last but not the least, transfer subsidies dedicated to fossil fuel toward the financial of green energy resource are so needed. On this, I will stop my presentation. I hope that you understand my time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Thank you very much.